So welcome to Università Cattolica del Sacro Cuore. Again, I'm very happy to be here. We have been working together with La Salle for many, many years now, so it's a very solid partner for us, and hopefully vice versa. And we've been welcoming a good number of students from your institution. So I want to say that we don't have any testimonial today, but I'm sure that there are a lot of students out there willing to share what kind of great experience they had. So Cattolica is the largest Catholic institution in Europe, private institution in Europe. We have over 40,000 students studying with us. What you see here is the main campus in Milan. It's an old monastery located in the heart of the city in Milan. So as I said, it's an old monastery that dates back to medieval times and has been renovated during the Renaissance, like 15th century, by a very important architect, Bramante. So when you walk into the building, you have this feeling of belonging to an older history and a long history. So I think it's a very nice feeling. And it's a city, I want to say it's a city university because it's really being located in the heart of the city means that you can actually go everywhere from the university and you feel part of the city, of Milan itself. So I think there are many reasons why one can decide to study in Italy, and I would like to hear yours maybe at the end of the session, why you would like to study there. We put together 3 or 4 reasons here that are kind of connected to our academic identity as well. So we have, for example, let me move this here so you can see this better. Oops. The food and wine culture, because obviously a big part of our culture and our also economy that is linked to our Piacenza campus. Culture and heritage, I don't know if you know it, but Italy being so small has the highest number of UNESCO sites in the world. And what you see here on the screen is the Duomo of Milan, so the cathedral, which is a very iconic monument of the city. And then obviously the Made in Italy and the design and fashion are kind of like 2 big things in this country, I want to say. And the healthcare system, and we will be seeing this in a second. We have a campus in Rome that is very that is home to our medical school, and so we have courses in the healthcare system, in the healthcare area. And the healthcare system in Italy is very highly ranked globally, and so it's certainly an interesting place to study health science, if I might say so. And then why Cattolica? Cattolica, as I said, it's a very renowned international private institution, and we have a broad portfolio of international programs. We have also a large community of international students, both during the semester and summer and winter, with over 100 nationalities represented, which means that, as Sandra said, it's not just about the academic experience that you get when you study abroad, but it's also the intercultural piece, the intercultural communication piece, and the fact that you're actually sharing space with somebody with a different background and academic background, but also like geographical background and cultural background. And I think this is the great added value because obviously you can study this most of the same courses you will find it at your own institution, and obviously the quality is like super high at your institution. So you're not just traveling abroad to like get good quality academic quality, that's a big part of it, but also to get a cultural experience. So that is very important. The 2 things go hand in hand. And also we have, there's something we're very proud of, a tailored service for international students. We have a big team of the student service team. It was 5, actually 6 colleagues full-time dedicated to helping you before, the nomination, when you start the process, during the process, on site and beyond. So this is something very important because you can feel actually you're in good hands and you can feel safe. Like working with the colleagues, and we're very experienced because of the numbers we receive. So we're pretty used to having a lot of students. So these are some numbers of Cattolica. And I think one thing that I want to mention is just the number of international partnerships we have, which I think speaks to my previous point of having a lot of students from different countries. Talking about, for example, summer programs, we have students coming from China, India, Singapore, Australia, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, different countries in Europe and North America, like Mexico, for example, or Canada or the United States. So there is a very interesting mix in class that you will benefit from. And then we have 5 different campuses. For short-term programs, we're going to be focusing on Milan and Rome only. For the semester options, we have like several different programs in other campuses, but today we're going to be focusing on summer programs specifically. So I want to say that just very quickly mention that we have a very strong connection with the industry out there, and this is useful to know, not because you're looking for a job in Italy coming for 2 weeks, but because our professors and the university itself has a strong network out there, which means that during the courses, you will have access to the network of our professors and professionals. And you, like, each course has an experiential learning component embedded into the course, which is, can be company visits or professionals coming to speak or guest speakers. So this is the point I'm making here when I, speak to employability. It's really the strong relationship we have with the industry and with the, working world. So a little bit about Milan. If you've never if you've never been to Italy, if you've never been to Milan, this is just a few highlights. It's the economical and financial engine of the country. It's the home of 7 different universities, so it's a very students-oriented city. It's a very cosmopolitan and very international city. I dare to say that it's probably the most international and European city in the country. We tend to compare Milan with other capitals. So we tend to compare Milan with Paris, with London, with New York, when actually Milan is a very small city, especially for you, like coming from Mexico City. We are like less than 1.5 million residents. So during the day, we have a lot of people coming in to work, but it's really, I want to say, it's kind of a walkable city, if you like, but with the spirit of a capital. So there are so many things happening every day in different, in different realms. So it can be culture, it can be sports, it can be music. And so this is what I think makes Milan very special. So it feels a big city, but it's actually a pretty small city. And then for those of you considering maybe the winter, January 2026, it's going to be the home of the Winter Olympic Games. So that's something I might be interested in. And then Rome, I think Rome doesn't need like many words. I think it's like a pretty famous city. What I would like to say is that this year is the year of the Jubilee. So we expect like something like 20 million visitors. So it's going to be pretty packed. That's one thing I want to say. And the other thing I want to say that the Policlinico Gemelli has been ranked by Newsweek. Actually, this is 2021, but it's been 2022, 2023, and 2024. So 4 years in a row has been ranked the best hospital in the country. And so studying in Rome at the Rome campus, you will have access to the hospital, and all the professors are also doctors who will take you to see, the like cutting edge technologies and what's really happening in the hospital as well, which is kind of an interesting experience. And then when it comes to summer programs, so there are different sessions. So each course is 2 week long. There's one couple of exceptions where the course is 3 week long. And you can combine different sessions. So you can stay for 2 weeks or 4 or 6, or actually even 7 if you combine 3 plus 4. And you can decide which area you want to focus on, and you can pick and choose the courses you want to take. One thing that is really important, and we're going to see it probably here from, I'm going to share with you in a second the calendar. You cannot take 2 courses at a time. You can take courses back to back because each course is 44 contact hours, so it's pretty intense. It's like the same amount of hours that you would take during the semester. And so like some of the key points here is like classes are pretty small, so no more than 30, 35 students, I want to say. And depending on the course, it can be even 10 or 12, depending on really. There are some niche courses that are smaller and some bigger courses that go up to like 35, I want to say, 40 max. But what really, I think makes the summer programs kind of like very, very interesting, and this is a feedback we all have from students every year, the company visits and the experiential learning components. So the projects you will get to work on, the debate and the discussion, that is kind of the key and the highlight of most of the courses, I want to say. And also this is something that we already covered, I want to say. And then when it comes to the requirements, you have to be at least, you have to have finished the first year and have a good level of English, B2 or equivalent. So if you have a certificate, that's fine. If you don't have a certificate, like an IELTS or TOEFL, but you have any other certificate, kind of make like the most important thing is that we need to make sure that you actually have a B2 level. So even the language center at your own institution can actually certify that, especially because you're going to be nominated by your home institution and selected. We truly trust our partners, and so we know that we are in excellent hands. So I know that Sander will only send our way excellent students. So just make sure that you keep in mind the nomination deadline and the enrollment deadline, which is April 1st and April 15th. And if there are any internal deadlines with your university, just make sure you're aware of that as well. Okay, so talk to Sander and just make when you're making up your mind and just see what the process takes on your end. This is the course calendar, and I just want to share very quickly, and I can share it in the chat with the link. What I was referring to, you can take like strategic management and then new frontiers and then Italian masterpieces. That's fine. What you cannot do is taking strategic management, for example, and mass communication, two courses at the same time, because it's going to be impossible and there's going to be like a lot of overlapping. So in terms of accommodation, we have our own housing provider that can help you find, can offer some options, but also we can share like a list of vetted providers that we have already worked with in the past. So they're not the official Cattolica provider, but still like trustworthy. So that is important. One recommendation, do not pay anything in advance unless you really know the platform, because every time there's somebody paying a lot of money for something that doesn't exist. So not for the summer, primarily for the semester, but it happens at least once, twice a year. And so just make sure you're not that case specifically. And then obviously being part of the university, you're being enrolled at Cattolica, so you'll have access to all the facilities, which is the healthcare center, the International Student Center, libraries, the students' canteens and restaurants, and any activity that is offered to our students will be open to you as well. So the first day, the first morning, it's dedicated to the orientation. So we take the full morning to kind of walk you through all the information you need to have, okay? So you don't need to worry too much about knowing everything, because the moment you get there, we will help you kind of figure out your stay, okay? That's very important. And then also, and that's pretty much it. And I also want to say that we try to offer a buddy program. So in case we have students available, you will be matched if you want with an Italian student, and you'll be able to like kind of get to know them a little bit more at the beginning of the course and even before that, so you can have a more even local experience.